There we go. Let me search my friend Jason from Australia. Are you there?
Luiz, how are you?
I'm doing great, Jason. Thanks for your time.
No worries.
Tough time we're passing through, my friend.
Yeah, that's right. It's 11 p.m. here, so things are quiet at my house. How's everything at your place?
Yes, and you just got huge news that the Olympics got postponed for next year. It's a unique move that was necessary. We, in our group, were discussing a lot about that. If maintaining the games during this year, what was the consequences, and postponing that there will be other consequences as well. But the local organized committee and the International Olympic Committee, they were supposed to wait. Which one was tougher or easier to deal? And we all know in the backstage that postponing right now is the best move.
Yeah, it was pretty. The hand was forced a bit because I think Australia and Canada had already pulled out. So I think everyone would have followed suit, and it would have been fairly bad PR-wise for them. So I think it's probably the best outcome, really, because obviously athletes need time to change their training and sort of get ready to do another sort of piece of training so they peak at the right time and all that. They can't just kind of be left in the dark, so they need some certainty. So plus all the sponsors and all the logistics that go into all of it, and hopefully by then this has all gone away, so fingers crossed.
Okay, so if you could please tell me and for all the audience about your background on the sports industry and what you have been doing, what are your plans? Feel free.
Yeah, I started work in a technical background in computers in the Australian Air Force, of all things. And then I moved into the media and worked in the media for 15 years or so, and then moved across into digital media and sport. So I worked on the Australian Open Tennis 2015, put together a big live streaming project there, and was the head of digital for Queensland Rugby League here in Queensland. So the National Rugby League, we're sort of one of the major states or provinces, areas that is heavily into rugby league. So I don't know if you know State of Origin, but it's a series of 3 rugby league games that is always between the same 2 states. Here in Australia, it's 3 of each year's biggest sporting events. So I ran a content team around that and various other operations in that league. And so it was during that time when I realised that the fans in the stadium weren't getting the best experience compared to the fans sitting at home. They were missing out on, I think, between 60 and 90% of sporting content on a broadcast is not live play. So the fans in the stadium were missing out on most of that. There's not that much that ends up on the big screen, whereas those that stay at home get all that analysis and all the interviews and all that stuff. And I thought that was a bit backwards, so I left my job and built a platform so that we could start to bring that kind of content to fans at the stadium via their mobiles in near real time, and also enable the clubs to earn more revenue out of their game day by all the sponsorship and advertising opportunities that come with that. So that's been the last sort of 2.5 years of my working life, sort of getting that off the ground and just starting to get traction with that now. And I'm hoping that the big upheaval that coronavirus is bringing to the sporting world, which is very significant, is going to start to shock a lot of clubs and leagues and sporting organisations out of their complacency a little bit, so they start to realise that they need to try and not just do things the way they've always done them anymore and start to experiment a bit more, because I honestly didn't think it would be as hard as it has been to get them to embrace innovation, but it's been incredibly hard, and I had a lot of good contacts in a lot of sporting codes in Australia, and we've had more success overseas than we've had here. So I think overseas they're probably slightly ahead of Australia in terms of looking at innovation in sport, but it's still really, really hard to get people to even, I've offered my platform, which is net revenue positive, so you make more money, much more money than it costs you. I've offered it for free to clubs just to experiment with, and they've just flatly turned it down because they say, well, we make all our money through broadcast and ticket sales, various other things, and sponsorship in terms of advertising around the game and what have you, and stuff on the jersey and the signage on the field and all that stuff. But when that goes away, what's the plan B? I don't think there's that many leagues out there that have a plan B at the moment.
What do you think that in your specific area of work will have to adapt or will change in short term, middle term, and long term?
I think, short term, clubs need to find a way to engage with distributed areas, groups of people that are obviously not congregating together quite yet, but they will be. And so, social media is one way to do that, but it's quite hard to monetize. Whereas if they had some sort of platform where they could directly contact people in certain regions, so obviously, say La Liga is a good example, or the Brazilian Serie A, whatever league you want to talk about, if they could, send a shout out from the team who are all probably in isolation or in training still to a certain area and just say, hey, everyone in Australia, say everyone in Southeast Queensland, look, we're doing this and that, and this message is brought to you by sponsor blah, and something as simple as that, or running a little training program where you train along with at home when you're stuck inside training with your heroes. They just have very few ways to monetize that at the moment, and especially these days where most codes, I think medium term, to answer your question, most codes realise that there's a big opportunity in China and in Asia, but most of them have established offices there, but they've got a massive opportunity to engage groups of fans who congregate and support certain teams across the other side of the world, much more than just trying to sell them merchandise. So, being able to better engage and monetize around the world and to target specific communities, I think is going to be big.
That's good. So what else would you suggest for sports teams, federations, even sports agencies that work with athletes, what they can prepare themselves for future crises? Because we all know that it's a cycle that 3 and 3 years, 6 and 6, or 10 and 10, we have different kind of crisis that comes from stocks or some disease. it's something that we have to be prepared. So, what are your suggestions as a very experienced sports industry professional?
I think obviously data is big, and a lot of the bigger football clubs around the world are starting to realise this. I think they've got a lot of catching up to do, but obviously the more data you have on all your fans around the world, the more you can monetize in lots of different ways. Obviously, OTT platforms are springing up all over the place. I think that's going to get more and more specialized and fragmented. I think they should be trying to, as much as the deals will let them in terms of individual players, trying to infiltrate or do deals to get their hooks into those players' social media profiles and merge that a little bit more. So I think in future deals there'll be a certain number. So if I'm a superstar and I sign on for a football team, I'll have to do, or my club will get 3 annual social media takeovers. That'll be part of my contract, and I'll have to support perhaps an esports team, or do esports streaming appearances, that kind of thing, where it'll all start to merge, and it'll be not just about football but about the team brand, which will start to be across a lot more properties.
All right, great. So I like very objective chat between the guests. So if you want to give some final message for our colleagues, feel free to. And on March 26th, we'll have Marcus from Malaysia that he will also share his expertise. So please, your final message.
Final message is to at least devote 2%, 5% of your time, especially in although there's a lot of crisis work to be done, crisis management, that will start to fade away, and there'll be more planning and restarting of leagues. At least devote 2 or 5% of your time and resources to trying new things. 9 out of 10 won't work, but it'll be the 1 out of 10 that will work, that will pay off the next time that there's a global pandemic or a big crisis. So have a look at my platform. I'm letting people use it for free just to play with it. It's called siren.com.au. It doesn't have to be that. It could be any new platform. There are a lot of vendors out there with great ideas that just can't even get anyone on the phone, whereas you've got that much opportunity. It doesn't actually need to cost money. It just needs to cost your time and a bit of willpower to explore some new avenues.
All right, amazing. Thanks for your time, and stay safe, you and your family. And hopefully very soon we will get through this and we get back to work face to face with the industry and the fans. Thanks.
Yeah, look forward to all the next guests in the coming days. You've got a great lineup. Well done, Luiz.
Okay, thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.